How's everybody doing? It's good to hear. Am I getting feedback? We're good? Okay. So I want to give a special thank you to Jenny, Kathleen, the Creative Mornings team for allowing me to be here, for making this happen. This is an opportunity I don't take lightly. I also want to extend a gratitude to Wilkin for speaking highly of me in rooms I'm not in. It's a beautiful thing to have friends like that, so I'm grateful. I think it's important when walking into things like this to have a clear sight of intention. So I hope that you all can leave with a sense of renewal and a deeper look at self. So I want to begin with my least favorite poem. It's untitled, but I'm sure it'll speak for itself. I hear sirens so clearly from miles away. Ever since that one night I was supposed to watch a movie, I maxed out, refund, ride home, red and blue. He's not breathing. This is not the story I wanted to be in. I figured my Heavenly Father figured it was time for his son to come home. I didn't know that would be the last time coming home to see him. Hospitals are cold, but don't inspire recovery, in my opinion. Cold. Every visit was the same temperature, and no hoodie had enough comfort to prepare me. Wish I visited every day. Wish distance wasn't an excuse and gas was unlimited. Wish I didn't take time for granted. Time will tell you everything. In due time. A little bit about my dad. He had a green thumb and a heart of gold. He loved to tend to his plants and share the fruits that grew on the trees that we planted over the years. They still stand till this day. For over 2 decades, he was an amazing chef and has served many people. So his giving heart and keen eye for detail and quality really made sense. I'm so thankful I got to experience the time I did with him on this earth. November 9th, 2017, there was a shift. He passed away from a rare condition called amyloidosis, which is pretty much a buildup of these proteins called amyloids, and they build up in the vital organs and they cause it to fail. It was his heart that failed. And although that was an ending, there was a revival taking place within me. You see, the thing about grief is it can bury you. What I didn't know is it could also plant seeds. Grief doesn't only bury you, it plants seeds. And what those seeds grow into are entirely up to you. My father never heard a single poem I wrote. He might not even know that I wrote anything at all. You know, it's so easy for us to hide away with our gifts because of fear or judgment. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. I'd give up a lot for him to be here right now, to see the things I've done, the people I've impacted, the growth of the garden he started. I remember praying for a miracle that day. Did I lose faith? Absolutely not. I was just reminded that you got to do more of the things you love while your loved ones are here. And once you give yourself permission, things change. When I think of a revival, I'm reminded of when I grew up in the church, and it meant miraculous events, miraculous things, and a restoration of faith. And I feel like there's an identical spirit in here, an identical feeling being amongst you all. You know, we share our life paths and the goals and dreams with strangers and our insecurities just to find out that we're not alone. And that revives us. That revives me. Your strength might be my weakness, vice versa, and that alone shows me that it's so important. Community is so important. And it just lets me know how much we need each other. So the meaning remains the same. Growing up in a two-parent household, I was very fortunate to see a healthy dynamic, a healthy marriage, a healthy partnership. And I believe that me experiencing that helped to cultivate the honest, creative storyteller that I am. And although my parents didn't quite understand the freelance and the entrepreneurship route I took, they backed me up. They still supported my dreams. And because of that, I've been able to experience a ton of things. Commercials, campaigns, short films, to name a few. These experiences have shaped my perspective of the world and the people around me. I've also learned that time passing isn't always time wasted. I know there's times where we feel like things aren't moving for us. Everybody else is getting gigs, getting further in their careers, and we just feel like our time is wasting and we're losing time, but it's not always time wasted. These are some creative things I've done. I am a conceptual artist, and that photo on the bottom right is interesting to me. A little bit about that one specific photo. I was in Cuba, and what was special about that one photo that I love so much is I was in a taxi. It was like a classic car, like one of these. And, the guy was kind of looking at the taxi, and I didn't want to take a picture of him with him looking. And then he looked away for a split second, and I snapped, and as soon as the shutter went, the car took off. And I just thought that was beautiful because I only had that one shot. So I've seen luck in real time over and over again, simply because I've allowed a revival to happen in every transitional period of my life, and I embraced it. So, to take a step back into 2017, when things changed, I like to think of the new perspective of what took place in my mind. I wanted to express myself more. So what did I do? I started where I was. I decided I'm going to go to open mics. I'm going to perform. I'm going to get as uncomfortable as I could performing poems I held captive in the lines of my composition books. I started to feel a reawakening. And something hit me. What if I created this selfless, anonymous campaign called "If You See This, You're Beautiful"? I put them on stickers and just started a little movement, and they just spread around the world. And, So why did I start this campaign? I wanted to leave something behind, and I wanted to have these little messages around and people see them and it just changed their day, maybe saved their life. There's this medical terminology that I love when describing this campaign. It's called secondary intention. It's when there's an open wound and it heals from the bottom up, from the inside out. And I believe that's a direct reflection of my campaign, healing from the inside out. What if these small sticker seeds of positivity created a forest of kindness, of hope, and that every glance was a reminder that kindness grows wild and there's beauty in being seen? The delusional will always thrive, right? I chose to be delusional and to see what happens because my inner child was ready to take the driver's seat. Fear and doubt had already reached their destination, so I let them out. I created this simple design. I met up with my friend Steck. He had a sticker printing business. Told him what I needed. Long story short, after creating like a new IG page saying DM me for free stickers, within 6 months they went around the world. From Florida to Cuba to Canada to Germany to Sweden. Strangers were sending me their addresses from all over, and I was just mailing them out for free. Who would have thought that so many people needed this message? He did. You are successful the moment you make something and send it into the world, regardless of how it's perceived. This was beautiful. I felt like this was an embodiment of what just happened. So, staying inspired, I then decided I'm going to create what I call meaningful merchandise. So I did the hoodies, the mugs, the shirts, just to stay inspired. Even through the campaign, mask, just to show the span of time, to keep the campaign alive. I was still performing here and there, taking gigs, freelance, life, girlfriend, now fiance. And I would still continue to write. In my notes, in my phone, I would write these little inspirational things. I would keep writing poetry in my phone. 8 years in the making, I now have enough words for a book. So I'm showing you this illustration here because when I started to organize myself, I started to move the words from my phone to paper. And what I did was I had this journal that my friend gave me a long time ago. What I would do is I would write on these sticky notes and I would just throw them on different pages to kind of create like some form of structure, right? So to show you, this is the book. So I'd eventually take them all out, put them on the table, create different sections, and then move it around. So one of my good friends was in town, Lundrell, a visionary, an artist, an author. And I met up with him and it was just telling him this grand idea I had. And he pretty much just gave me some simple advice. Put out the version you can now, and if you want, improve it later. Exactly a year from that date, I was published. So this shows the process, the mindset I had. I had these notes. I was putting them in this book. Eventually, flow state, boom, from notebook to the actual, to reality. And little to my surprise, the book spread just like the stickers did. What a blessing to have so much support from a loving, honest community. Being an author has taught me that writing a book doesn't mean your story has an ending. It just means it has an eternal beginning that can be experienced over and over again. So, my final questions to you are, what do you have that's buried? What gifts or ideas are you hoarding? I didn't really come here to talk about the cool things I've done or aspire to be. My purpose here is just to be like water and to remind you that what it is that's hiding is not dead. It just needs some sun and some time. Thank you.